Hello my gorgeous little loves out there, and welcome. In today's video I'm going to do the makeup declutter tag, which was created by Ave Chisel, which I love her channel. She's super funny, and this tag just really aligns with where my channel is at, what I've been focusing on, like getting rid of makeup, using things up, and buying less. So it's like, this is the perfect tag for me right now, and I really enjoy doing these kind of videos. But before we get into this video, if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Bree, and I'm just a crazy lover of all things beauty, and I like to post a lot of fun, colorful makeup content. I like to do a lot in indie makeup, so if that's what you're into, please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. But with that being said, let's get into this video. Alright loves, so we're gonna get into this tag. I love this. This is different. It's really talking more about makeup that maybe we don't really use, don't think is worth the hype, and overall just makeup you probably would declutter. And I'm very in that mode right now about buying less, having less things, and just focusing on really good things. So it's like, this is it. This is the tag I want to do, and I haven't done a tag in a while, and I think these videos are fun. I like talking about makeup. I like answering questions and just sitting here hanging out with you guys. But if you don't know about Ave Chisel, she is so cool. She has a very funny, quirky personality. She makes the like greatest jokes, and she's just so fun to watch. She does makeup stuff. I think she was doing a little bit more comedy kind of things and stuff like that too on her channel, so definitely check her out. I'll link her video below that I watched where she created this tag, as well as other YouTubers that I watch also do the tag if you want to check their videos out. And I will also link the questions below in case you want to do this tag, or you just want to see the questions, answer them for yourself, maybe share with me in the comments. That would be really cool too. But I think we should just dive into these questions. Oh, hi Bear! Oh my god, my bear showed up! By the way guys, I just want to show you guys my cat in case you're wondering before we get into this tag. Isn't he just cute? So chubby and chunky, and I love him. Anyways, so let's get into the first question, which is a makeup item that's impractical. And this is the products that are impractical to me. So you might disagree because this might be something you use a lot, but for sure colored highlighters, like purple highlighters, blue highlighters, green highlighters, those are things I don't typically wear. Every now and then I'll use them, but on an everyday basis, it's not practical for me and how I do my makeup. And I feel like colored highlighters are not practical for a lot of people unless you're like trying to create like a certain look, like alien vibes, iridescent fairy vibes, you know, things like that. But regularly, I don't think color highlighters really make sense. They're not very like flattering on my skin tone because it just looks like I have a, you know, color strip on my cheeks. I think they're fun. I like to look at them. I like to swatch them, but it's just very rare that I actually use them. So I have like this palette from Unused. Like this shade I like never wear because it's a blue highlighter, and I don't know if I ever would wear that. It's a blue icy highlighter on top of that. Like this would make a beautiful inner corner highlight, great on the lids, but on my cheeks, I don't know. So I feel like overall just color highlighters don't really make sense in terms of like my preference and what I like to do with my makeup. Also have this one from Fenty Beauty. This was the Kilowatt Foil Free Style Highlighter Palette. This was a holiday collection from years ago, which my boyfriend bought me because I was obsessed. I really wanted it, and I don't know why, because most of these do not work as highlighters on me, especially this blue. Like, really? This would never work on me. Then there's like this lavender one, which is actually super pretty. And then it has like this really deep one. Like, what? These are, you know, very interesting shades that she put in here. And I thought it looked pretty and different, but it's a little too different to actually work for me. Now I've used like these as like blush toppers, and maybe this one right here, but overall like none of these shades are practical, especially for my skin tone and what I like for makeup. So just overall colored highlighters just are impractical to me. And then the next question is a mascara that's definitely expired, and for sure it's this Rare Beauty mascara. It's not the new one that I bought. I still have the old one. I don't know why I opened a new one and kept the old one in the drawer. Like, what was I thinking? This is, I don't even know what this mascara is called from Rare Beauty, but it's the only one they have, and I know I've had this for months in my collection, and I don't know why I just keep holding on to something that's expired. Especially with mascaras, you need to get rid of them after expiration because it can irritate your eyes. You know, you're putting it on your lashes and you can get like bacteria and all stuff like that. And I usually try to stick to the expiration date, but every now and then I be holding on to mascaras way too long, which is probably a health hazard at this point, but that's for sure a mascara I know I've had too long in my collection. And then the next question was a red lipstick that you never wear. And it would for sure be this one from Dose of Colors. I've worn it a few times, but this is the shade Date Night. This one is a more deeper red, which is beautiful. And this is, you know, a very long wearing product. It's a liquid lipstick, like full dry down and everything. And it's a deep, sexy red. It makes sense to be called a date night, but it's just not often that I wear lipsticks, like red lipsticks. Sometimes I have a phase where I gravitate towards reds, or if I wear like a really neutral look, then maybe I'll do this, or like a date night. I think date night's probably the only time I ever wear red lipstick, but this is definitely a lip product that I don't wear enough and probably should because it's such a beautiful deep red. But anyways, let's get to the next question, which is a high-end item not worth the money. This is so easy. I just talked about this and palettes that I regret purchasing, and that would be the Natasha Denona pastel palette. And I'm gonna hold on to it because I can't seem to let go Natasha Denona's products, and because I spent so much money, I feel horrible letting it go. And at this point I don't think I can return it. It's just not the best quality. Mattes aren't that good, and you go for pastels usually for good pastel mattes, and they didn't perform as expected. The only thing that I do love in here are the pastel metallics. I do think those are pretty, but the main reason why I bought it was for the mattes. So this was totally a waste of money in my opinion. It was a $60 palette for shadows that I don't even like half the palette doesn't have a good formula in my opinion. So this is definitely a high-end product that I don't think is worth the money. There are so many good pastel palettes. The one from Beach Cosmetics is really good. I think it's the Lost in Los Angeles palette. There's just so many affordable good pastel options out there. The next question is a drugstore dud, and I would say for sure is the e.l.f. Big Mood Mascara, which I've still been using it because I have this completionist in me and I have to finish things. And I'll use this, especially if I'm just gonna put falsies on. I guess I don't really care how my lashes look, but this applicator is so big and the formula is super wet. It's very messy, and I always smear this on my lids. I always get it under here. And for it being so big and so wet and all that, it doesn't really give me dramatic lashes at all. So if I'm gonna go through all that effort to put it on, I would hope it would at least give me some big, bold lashes, but I don't think it does anything for my lashes. I actually feel like maybe the product is too heavy and weighs down my lashes, and then it just gets everywhere. So I definitely think this is a dud. This is not a mascara that I would recommend. There are so many good mascaras at the drugstore, and this just ain't it. So this for sure is not a good drugstore product. And then the next question is an eyeshadow palette you forgot you had. And I thought about this, I was like, what palette have I not touched in forever that if someone asked me if I had it in my collection, would I know? And then I was like, you know what? Let me look through them, and I found it. This right here, I always forget that I have this. This is the Hasina 2 palette from Blush Tribe, which do they still exist? I'm not totally sure if that brand is still operating, but I always forget that this is in my collection. I bought this very early in my makeup obsession with palettes, and when I started to kind of venture into indie brands, which this palette is so beautiful. So to know that I keep forgetting that I have it, the greens, the blues, the purples, and obviously I keep holding on to it because every declutter that I've had, I've never let this one go because it's so pretty, yet I forget that I have it, and I haven't played with this probably in years. I don't know when's the last time I've used this palette, but every time I look at it, I'm like, I need this. I need to use it. It's gorgeous. And then I stick it on the shelf and it gets forgotten about. Poor thing. I need to remember this more. I really do. This will hopefully help remind me that I need to use this. Maybe I should just sit it there on my desk so it's there and it's telling me, use me, use me. I'll probably do that. I'm gonna use that palette. And then the next question is a foundation that's not your shade match. And I actually just used this foundation in a Get Ready With Me, and it's definitely not the right shade. This is the NYX Bare With Me Tinted Skin Veil. I love how it looks on the skin and the finish, and the light coverage and how it feels, but this is really yellow tone, and I am more of a cool like reddish pinky undertones, and usually I'll just go with neutral. I feel like you just can't go wrong with a neutral foundation, but with these products, it's so hard to figure out what the shades are. There's no description for the shades. Like if you go onto Ulta or where they're sold at now, I think this is a product that might be getting discontinued. I think I saw it on Walmart and like other like drugstore websites. But do you see how yellow that is? That is nowhere near the tones of my skin. It is so warm tone, and I'm not a warm tone girl. I don't have yellows and stuff like that, so I don't know. This is a really bad shade for me. And then the next question is a product that wasn't worth the hype, and I have mentioned this over and over on my channel, which I'm sure you guys are probably getting sick of me saying how just not worth the hype this product is. And it is the Pat McGrath eyeshadows. All of their eyeshadow palettes. This is the Rose Divine 2, which I also mentioned this in that video where I talked about palettes that I regret purchasing. And to me, this just wasn't it. Like, I think it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's a really pretty palette. The shimmers are pretty. A lot of them are a lot more like toppers. They are very sparkly though. And it has like this more shifty shade. But the price tag doesn't make it worth it, because this palette is $129, and I feel like I could get equally good shadows from cheaper palettes from indie brands that are like half the price, even fourth the price. So I just think these shadows get so hyped up by so many people on YouTube and like Instagram. In the comments, people just rave about the Pat McGrath eyeshadow formula, and I just don't see it. I don't get it. I don't know why people go so crazy about this, but I'm telling you, there's like Cliona shadows that are better than this. Divina, Kaleidos has better shimmers. Udin's Eye has really stunning shimmers, and a lot of these are a lot more like toppers, and then there's a lot of satins in here. There's only 2 mattes. Like, it just didn't meet my expectations, and I even got this on discount. I got it for 80 bucks, and still at $80, this is not worth it. Like, $80 is way too much for this palette. I feel like maybe you're paying more for the heavy weighted luxe packaging than you are for the shadows. They are good. They're just not $100.29 eyeshadow good, you know? Then the next question is a concealer you couldn't make work, and it's for sure this one. I just used this recently on my channel in a Shop My Stash video, and I was talking about how I had this and I never used it, but this is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh concealer. I've used it several times after I did that video to really test it out, and I don't think it looks very good under my eyes. It doesn't give the greatest coverage, and I feel like it kind of settles into my fine lines. Maybe the formula is too thin, and I just feel like it just doesn't sit well under my eyes, and I have a lot of creasing. I have some like texture and stuff, and it doesn't really do anything for it. And for it to be kind of like a more hydrating hyaluronic acid kind of concealer, I don't even feel like it really hydrates my under eyes either. And it could be that this might have sat in my collection too long, and maybe the product expired, so it's not working like how it normally should. That could also be the case, because I've had this for a long time. It was unopened, but you know, after a while things sit, they settle, they separate. So maybe it could be that, but right now that is definitely a concealer that didn't work for me. Then the last question is, if you had to start one makeup category from scratch, what would it be? And I was like, you know, it for sure wouldn't be my eyeshadow palettes, because I love my eyeshadow palettes. It wouldn't be my blushes, because I have so many good blushes, or highlighters or bronzers. So then I was like, you know what? It'd be foundations. I feel like my foundation collection has gotten out of hand, and I've decluttered many things, but I've been buying more and more foundations, and I feel like I'm just overwhelmed. Like, there's just too many options, and when I look at it, I never know what to do. And here's like a bin of them, and I also have a bunch still in the drawer over here, and I feel like I don't really need these many. Like, I feel like I need to have a more curated foundation collection. Like, just have like 5 staples, maybe 10 staples at max, and that's it, because I think I may have 20 foundations in here, and I have one face. Why do I need 20 foundations? And I feel like I know more of my preference now, what works for my skin type, what ingredients are good, you know, what kind of finishes will do the best on me. And before, I would just buy anything and just try and figure it out. And now I feel like I really know like what is a good formula that would probably be the best. So I think that's a collection I would start from scratch and like start over with for sure. Anyways, guys, that was all the questions in this tag, and I found it really interesting doing this. It made me think a lot. It helped remind me that there's a lot of things that are overhyped out there. There's a lot of makeup items or products that necessarily just aren't meant for you, or just something that you like, and sometimes things get hyped up and you feel like you need to do those steps or have those makeup products, and that's not always the case. So I thought this was interesting and fun, and I do hope you guys enjoyed this tag video. You guys will have to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How would you answer these questions? I would love to hear from all of you, and if you do YouTube videos and you want to film one of these, please tag me in it. I would love to see it. And if you are new here and you did enjoy this video and you like a lot of fun, colorful makeup content, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. Also, don't forget to check out the description below. I will link the other YouTube videos that I mentioned, such as Ava 2's video. I will also have the questions there, as well as other videos of mine you might be interested in watching. I will also link the makeup that I'm wearing. I did film this for YouTube. I think that video should be up before this one, so I'll link it below. I'll put it up in the corner. I was using the new Nomad Fêtes de Provence, I think that's how you say it, palette. So if you're curious, it will all be linked below, and you can definitely check out that video. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, to hang out with me for a little bit. I really appreciate it. But I do hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world, and I'm just sending you all so much light and love. But until next time, bye guys.